R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. He was a 56-year-old black man that unfortunately passed away on May 6, 2022. Now, Mr. Samuels was an online influencer who eventually became a YouTube and Instagram sensation. He started out as an image consultant and talked to men about how to be the best versions of themselves and how to be a quote-unquote high-value man. He was very upfront, very forthright, spoke his mind, and eventually he found his lane speaking about intersexual dynamics, where he would, in my opinion, really try to, in his own way, help men and women understand their worth and how to get better and what kind of partner was suitable for them. Now, he found his niche and eventually got up to about 1.4 million followers by having a show where women would call in and they would talk to him about their relationships and about their situations. And he was very blunt. He would say things that were pretty cold. Like he, for instance, said, unmarried women over 35 are leftover women, which I don't agree with. Do I agree partly with that? Yes. Do I agree totally with that? Absolutely not. There's plenty of great women that I personally know over the age of 35, and maybe their life didn't work out perfectly for them, but there's still a great man out there for them. They can mature and evolve as they get older. I'll get into my opinions on the male-female dating game soon enough. But the bottom line is he's entitled to his opinion. And what he was great at was chopping down very entitled women. Women that thought they were a lot higher on the food chain than they really were. And I think there's some men that are entitled. I think there's some women that are entitled. Do I think there's more women that are entitled in today's dating market? Yes. And Kevin served a function of, hey, I'm trying to make men be, he was an image consultant for men. And he tried to get them to get on their grind and talk about ways that they can improve themselves. But he went on there and he wore a tux or a three-piece suit. And he might as well have been an executioner. Dressed way nicer than this. And he's got them on a chopping block, and he put the plastic coat over him so he doesn't get any blood on him. He just blunt force trauma. Metaphorically, of course. He was cold. He was harsh. And we need more of that in our world. I disagree with, I'm just going to say 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 things that he would say. But you know what? The other 2/3, the other 3/4, I loved it. Because he said it very nuanced, he said it very direct, and he said what needed to be said. Kind of a fact over a feeling type of thing. And the bottom line is, the reason I bring him up is not only to kind of pay homage to someone who was making a mark. Whether he was a good dude or not, I don't know. I don't know a lot of people. I align with ideas over individuals and ideologies. I just think he had a lot of good ideas and good points. Like, for instance, he was saying that a lot of women that are higher educated were not going for the George Jefferson type of men. George Jefferson was a black man who made it in a blue-collar world on a TV show. And that was a very good point. I understood that. I ran that by some people, and they agree with that. So he did make a lot of cold, callous points, but he made some really nuanced and important points that needed to be heard that other people weren't saying. That being said, he passed away, and there were people, women especially, but also some men, Probably some of those nice guys trying to curry favor. I would call them feminist men trying to curry favor with the women, or men who, aren't in touch with their masculinity like they need to be. Foreshadowing for my next point. These people were dancing on his grave. They were happy that he died. They were celebrating. I mean, it's one thing, again, I'm not a woman. I am not a black woman. Many black women felt like he was very unfair to their portion of culture. So I can't fully understand that. And maybe if I was in their shoes, I would say privately, like, I'm glad that mofo's not around. But to go out there on podcasts, to go out there and tweet, to go out there and speak and dance on his grave and literally be happy that the man's not around because he spoke the truth. And you call up his show, and sometimes he was rude and he wouldn't let people cut them off. And sometimes he would cut them off and he said, "Man, you called my show." And he was calm about it, but he was not nice. He wasn't kind either. He was cold. But they call up and they got mad. Some of them took it well. Some of them didn't take it well. And it's like, it's like you're going to Buffalo Wild Wings and you're complaining that the menu has all wings. It's like, oh man, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I wanted some lobster, some escargot, some shrimp. It's like, you went to Buffalo Wild Wings. What did you expect? You called up Kevin Samuels. What did you expect was going to happen? You asked for it. He gave you the truth, uncut and raw. We need more uncut and raw. Was he a little toxic? Maybe. But he was more truth than he was toxic. And then you got the other part of it, which is that some people will be like, well, you listen to what he said. Oh, you like that? I can't believe you. It's like, yeah, I don't necessarily like the man. I don't even know the man, but I respect some of the things that he said. It's like, oh, I can't believe that you would even, give him that dignity. And it's like, wait, you know who that reminds me of? Donald J. Trump. Because I didn't like Trump. I don't like Trump. But I like some of the stuff that he stood for. I like some of the stuff that he said. Now, I'm not comparing him to Kevin Samuel. I agree with more of Kevin Samuel said than what Donald Trump said. But the general gist of what I'm saying is that people you meet in the world, they'll think something of you. Some people will think something of you if you just agree with some of that. Oh, it's like he was so divisive, Trump. And it was like, if you just agree with a few of his points, oh my God, like you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're sexist. It's like, you're a bigot, what? I just said I agree with some of the things that he said. So there is a corollary here. R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. I wish he was still around. He was an important voice.